Alright, I think this is right about where we left off. This time, I'm gonna carefully surveil the area, take things as slow as we have to, and make it out alive. Somebody just got killed. In fact, everyone's dead. Was they just supposed to wait long enough and things would work themselves out? Maybe I did that thing that happens in a lot of games, where they just decide if you die too much that you're in easy mode, and all the challenge is gone. Oh, what the hell? These guys were late for work. Oh, I'm gonna punish them like a cruel taskmaster. Shockingly cruel, in fact. One thing I noticed about that kill is the very last part of the animation is Tati looking in their eyes to check, make sure they're dead. Very nice attention to detail. And these birds, they were the problem last time. They're not making things easy this time. Thing is, you have to physically touch a bird or get between one bird and another bird in order to activate them. So they're kind of like an amoeba. They'll move in and out their area of threat. Unlike an amoeba, they are very, very fast. See? Too fast for me. But we can get around them, I'm certain of it. Is there another path? Nope, blocked by birds as well. Blast! No dice. Oh, if only made things worse. Use horror to our advantage. First level, we didn't get the opportunity to horrify anybody. I thought for a second that it was impossible to get these little blades stuck in the wood. Turns out to not be the case. It's just harder because they're shorter. Oh, I slashed his throat in the middle of combat. Nice. Didn't even mean to impale him. Sure, keep coming. I'm ready to kill. Bring it on. Done a decent job introducing variety in a new way by making the multiple characters pretty different from one another. They've done a somewhat poor job balancing difficulty. This level is needlessly hard for being the first real level of the game. But we're gonna get through it. Tati's got some cool breakdancing moves that she'll do if you try to attack enemies that are not the ones she's facing. This group seems uncommonly timid, so they're not letting me really do it. There was one now. but it missed. No matter. Everyone's dead. So we've got a whole wide area back here to explore. Let's crush this guy nice and quick. Still got a few more stealth kills to meet the challenge. I mentioned before that Rise of the Kasai came out after a revolution in video game violence. And I had originally attributed it to Manhunt, because Manhunt did indeed raise the bar for violence. But I believe God of War is the one that really kicked the doors down. Made everything a competition to be the most violent. If nothing else, God of War is what this game is particularly hopeful to emulate. Which is unfortunate that any game that's in any way related to Mark of Korea is trying to emulate something. The first game's greatest advantage was that it was so unique. Is this a save point? I believe it is. Yep. Should save. But I'm flying too close to the sun. At least I know it. This is where the one guard was on patrol. There seems to be nothing of interest out here. I'm gonna go ahead and check that far corner that had a hallway that I did not peruse for some reason. If there turns out to be nothing back here, I'm cutting it out. And back here we find a Tuku, health up, and presumably our little storybook. Tell us a tale.
When the marked were first discovered, the families that bore the spells were persecuted. People began to fear the markings for what they could bring. They drew attention from the Kasai and gave the bearer dark powers. The Rakus, who were also known as the Protectors in some parts, became guardians of the cursed families, ensuring that their marks remained hidden so the ancient spells could never be invoked. For centuries, these warriors have stood watch, guarding humanity from darkness, teaching the marked about their curse, and warning them of their dark power. Book of the Damned, the Marked, 1-1.
That was one of our challenges, so it's a good thing I did come back here. One of the things I liked about the first game is that our adventures start out incredibly mundane. We're just sort of going outside, you know, swinging around back the old inn, killing absolutely everybody, and saving the day on a very, very small scale. But then as we continue our adventure, we discover that we are part of this massive plot that almost nobody in the world knows about. And then in this game, we start out knowing the plot. And it's kind of interesting that we are currently in the larger world, the conspiracy that we only touched upon in the first game.
As a child, Rao remembers his tutor, Baumusu, speaking of the oracle and its importance to the three kingdoms. He also remembers a second tree being planted should the first ever be destroyed. This second tree was in Ngari, a Kasai city. To sneak into a Kasai stronghold like Ngari was foolish, but Rao sought advice from the oracle. He needed information about the strange skills that Tati was developing and the nightmares that plagued her.
Now that does not immediately make a ton of sense. The first oracle tree was not planted. It grew from a spear thrust into the ground by deity. Could not simply make a new one. However, that's what they did. So that's our plot, I guess. Splitting up from Rao once again. Oh boy. This is a mess to behold. That said, stealth in a wide open area is something that the first game never really did. Not to any significant degree, anyways. Maybe in a set piece or two, but this is more like a traditional stealth game, the sort of thing that they had mastered over the years in the early PS2 days, when stealth was pretty much everywhere. Oh boy. Keeps tripping me up that in between the sections, your character automatically pulls out their basic weapon. Don't want to step into this one too quickly. Stealth is not going to be an option here, it looks like. Matter of fact, I don't know why I would go here at all, but I aim to find out. Finish him. Thank you. Ah, almost a flawless victory. Okay. I came here for a health pickup? What in the... This is not the kind of level design I like. They just punished me for being curious and exploring. Shame on you, Rise of the Kasai. I doubt I can use shadows to increase my stealth. They didn't take that much from Manhunt. Probably another pointless room. Oh, okay. So I could have risen to this area from the previous one. Not a complete dead end. Presumably this is not a complete dead end either. Looks like our options are to use stealth or to get caught while failing to use stealth. Seems like this pathway here is if you want to fight your way through, you have that option. Perhaps if you're playing as Rao, this would be the way you want to go. Still don't know where Rao's path actually leads. I mean, obviously back to the same place since we meet up every so often. But let's see what we've earned. I don't necessarily want to go back to the first floor. Oh boy. This better be worth it. Tati's combos are a bit harder to pull off, just because the timing is very different. Her attacks are very, very fast. I'm gonna have to learn to get used to that. See, old breakdancing kick in the head. That guy was attacking where I used to be for some reason. Not that fast. Pretty good. Another health up back here. And still my health resets between loading screens. Uh-oh. There was just a little music sting there that made me very paranoid. This might pay off. What say you? I think we've got ourselves a quest. I also think this back area was not optional at all. So I've spoken a bit too soon about the level design. Turns out they didn't waste a bunch of space. That was actually a pretty cool animation, the way she leapt on the switch to push it down. Does imply a bit of physical weakness, which... Come on, video games, not every female character has to be weak. Also, not every female character has to be so scantily clad. It's only mildly disturbing that we originally knew her as a little kid. Now she's wearing pretty typical video game bikini wear. Nonetheless, all female characters do start out as little kids, so that doesn't really make a difference practically. In fact, I'd pretty much ignore it entirely, assuming that maybe this is a rather harmless example of female characters being scantily clad, if this wasn't the company that eventually went on to make Splatterhouse, which features as an unlockable, completely naked pictures of its female lead. One of the most shameful things ever put into a video game. You're not getting away with that, Bottle Rocket. Haven't talked too much about Bottle Rocket, actually. What the hell is that sound? Okay, my souls just came back. That was scary for a second. But anyway, Bottle Rocket made this game. They made an adaptation of Shaolin Showdown or something. I'm not familiar with the show, but it's a Nickelodeon adaptation. And finally, they worked on Splatterhouse 2010. They did not complete Splatterhouse 2010 for mostly unknown reasons. Matter of fact, no one really cares why. Hey! I I get to automatically win if I stray too far from the path. I'm going to quickly return to the path. And we're back. Another success circle that I need to complete something. But anyway, Bottle Rocket folded after some controversial decisions they made in the production of Splatterhouse. Supposedly, they were ignoring all the fans' love of the series, the original Splatterhouse series, and basically trying to make Splatterhouse 2010 into the Mark of Kree 3. That's merely one accusation leveled against them as to why they never got to complete the project and were removed from it. Had another team hastily try and fix it. Since no one knows really anything about what happened with Splatterhouse, there's no confirmation. It's merely someone painting them as villains when they may or may not actually be. I have no idea what that second game, the adaptation from the Nickelodeon show, is about. In fact, I know so little about it, it may not even be a Nickelodeon show that it was adapting. But that's irrelevant. Another situation where enemies just keep on coming. I think this is our tree, so once we kill everybody, this should be the end. Come on. I don't think I got anywhere near my stealth kill requirements. Pretty sure you can all imagine what a whole bunch of stealth kills would look like, though. So if I missed some of my challenges, I'll probably just get them off screen without any need for a roundup video afterwards. Tukus are another situation. But if there's a Tuku up this staircase, then I won't need a roundup video. Call it a hunch. There's gotta be something up here. Or perhaps I'm overly presumptuous. Why'd you block this off, guys? This game is desperate to limit my fun. Ah, well. There we go. I think that's everybody. It's nowhere near everybody, but we got a teammate. The family's all here. I'll just pincer this guy. Slaughter him real quick. Yeah, having a teammate makes things go by much easier. It's a very well done mechanic, actually. No complaints there. Now what is that sparkly thing I just spied up there? I'll be right back if it's nothing. Okay, it's definitely nothing. Just the sky. And we win!
Upon communing with the Oracle, she told him that Rao was one of the last of the Rakus, an ancient order of warrior knights charged with watching over those marked with the spells. Then she warned Tati to beware the temptation that came with her curse, for the mark was evil and would seek to manipulate her. She instructed them in their destiny, preordained by the gods.
You should travel the land, seeking out those cursed with the mark, and ensure that they are protected. Some will be ancient scrolls hidden away, while others will be innocents, marked and oblivious to their importance.
She also warned them to make haste in their quest. They were not the only ones with interest in these words of power. Someone else was collecting the spells. Someone was amassing a library of evil.
Looks like that's our plot, all in one. Could turn out pretty good. As for the level, decent. I like the return of stealth mechanics. I'm apparently really bad at them. I don't understand why. They're made just a little bit more difficult to keep up with the advances in stealth technology. I believe we will round out this video with the final Tuku. Collect that. And then we'll call it a day. Before we get to that Tuku, I wanted to point out some stuff I learned since completing the level. For one, we are not supposed to approach this guy, as tempting as it is to sneak past the birds. Rather, we're supposed to take a circuitous path around these huts, and eventually loop back around, and while waiting, Rao was supposed to show up with his bow and snipe that guy for us. And over here on the other side of those boxes that frustrated me is where one of the levers is. This is actually where Rao and Tati's paths meet. At the very end of Rao's path is one of the levers, which he'll pull on his own. And then if you wait way too long, he will show up and pull this one for you. Which is what happened. You don't get to automatically win. Most of my frustrations with this level were caused by a lack of understanding of the mechanics and the design philosophy. So my newfound understanding should prove useful in the upcoming levels. See, there's Rao, right on schedule, taking care of business. And down at the tree itself is where we're going to find the final Tuku. That was Ngari. Join me next time as we explore more new territory.